Can you all confirm if you can see my screen now?
Yes, we can see.
Awesome, thank you. All right. So let's begin the session. Welcome again, you all. Thank you for joining. So today this is our week number 4, and we will be starting with our habit number 2, which is hydration or water intake. So let's begin today's session actually with a quick weekly check-in. Our last week's practice reminders were to practice the presence pause and the breath regulation, and optionally the Anulom Vilom Pranayam. Let's begin today's session with practicing the presence pause and breath regulation. So I invite you all to please be seated comfortably if you can. If you can, also optionally close your eyes, and we can begin our presence pause. And I will guide you through it. Please be comfortably seated with your spine erect and close your eyes. Take a deep breath, a deep inhale, and a long exhale. Start by bringing your attention to your breath. Notice your breath without labeling it. Now take your attention to your stomach. Notice the sensations. And then bring your attention to your feet. If your feet are touching to the ground, notice that sensation. Now bring your awareness to your posture. Do not correct it. Just observe your posture. Now observe what's on your mind. Watch what's running on your mind. And now observe how alert or tired you are in your body. How alert or tired you are in your body. And where do you feel it in your body? Where do you feel it in your body? Take a deep breath in on the count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And exhale on the count of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathe in. 1, 2, 3, 4. And breathe out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One last round. Breathe in. 1, 2, 3, 4. And breathe out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now open your eyes. Okay. So that was our presence pause and 3 rounds of breath regulation. If you haven't started practicing this, I request you all to start it and practice it whenever you can. You can set a specific time in the day or practice it at any different time of the day whenever you can remember. Even if you miss a few days, it's okay. Just come back to the practice whenever you remember to. And always remember, when you're practicing the presence pause, just observe without having to fix anything, and watch yourself like how a baby watches the world, without labeling anything, without naming anything. Okay, and that's something you should remember. And even if you're not able to practice it perfectly, it's fine. Just attempt it and you will get better at it eventually. All right. Moving on to today's habit, hydration. Now, water supports almost every function in the body. And that's why this becomes our habit too, because we're working on all the basic foundations of health. Water supports digestion and nutrient breakdown. You may eat a nutritious meal, but if the body cannot properly process and absorb it, the nourishment really doesn't reach the tissues. And water helps that movement. It also supports removal of waste. When body can't eliminate waste, it starts accumulating metabolic byproducts. What Ayurveda calls this is ama. Ama leads to many diseases downstream. So water helps removal of this metabolic waste, and water regulates temperature balance. And this matters because your hormones and enzyme functions in in a narrow temperature range. So when your internal temperature regulation fluctuates because of improper hydration, your metabolism, energy stability, and even mood can be affected. So hydration influences almost everything, including mental clarity and your energy as well. And in Ayurvedic science, water helps maintain the flow of what we call rasa, which is the primary nourishing fluid of the body. So when the hydration is off, multiple systems of the body struggle to function well. So this is really one of the basic pillars of health. And the first thing that probably comes to your mind when we talk about hydration is how much water do I drink, right? So let's begin by talking about that. How much water? Can anybody tell me, like, what you think is the right amount of water to drink? You may have heard about what's the right quantity of water, maybe 3 or 4 liters.
Yeah, three
What?
to
Eight
four
cups.
liters per day.
Yeah, or 8 cups a day, right? Or even calculations based on your body weight. Yeah. Let me tell you the Ayurvedic view of it. Firstly, Ayurveda never gives generic recommendations. How much water to drink really depends on the body type. Ayurveda categorizes everyone into one of 7 body types. So it depends on whether you're more of an airy or heated body type who typically need more water. But if you're on the earthy or watery side of the body type, you would need less water. It also depends on the season. If it's summer, obviously you're more thirsty and need more water, or if you're in an air conditioned room, you would need more water. So it depends on the climate, your environment, your age, your activity, and your diet, even. So many different factors. No hydration chart can really tell you how much water you exactly need. And even if someone makes a chart of, say, like you're 20 years old living in so and so area, eating a vegan diet with 50 kilos of body weight, you need this much of water, do not trust it, because nobody can possibly account for all the factors that impact your hydration needs. Okay, but you could use it as a rough baseline. You could use it as a rough baseline, but it's always best to listen to your body's intelligence. It comes down to that awareness and connection to your body, the core of what we're building in this program, right? And you need awareness of your thirst signals firstly, and also your body's feedback. Awareness of your thirst signals and your body's feedback. We'll figure this out. So this is how your body tells you that you're not getting enough water, right? You experience dryness or fatigue or constipation, sometimes causing headaches, poor digestion. It impacts all body's functions, but these are some signs telling you that you're not drinking enough water. When you're not urinating enough, or your urine is more yellowish in color, right? And then when you drink too much water, some people also drink too much water, you could experience weak digestion or bloating or heaviness, right? So more is not better, as we commonly hear, more water the better. That's not true. But I know you already know this, but it's not this straightforward also. Think about it, like you may have experienced sometimes that even with a little bit of water, you feel bloated. It happens more to some people. And sometimes you feel thirsty throughout the day and still not cannot quench your thirst no matter how much water you drink. Why does this happen? Why does this happen? We need to dig deeper. And it's not like you lack motivation to drink water, or your body is simply not able to digest water. And this is where I want to introduce to you to this Ayurvedic insight. You need to think about how much water you drink is important, but also drinking water right is important. It's not about hydration, is not about how much water you drink, it's how much water your body can absorb. It's not about how much water you drink, but it's also how much water the body can absorb. Okay, so in Ayurveda, absorption depends on what we call Agni, which is the digestive fire. And as this Agni, this digestion is important for food, Ayurveda recognizes that water also needs a certain level of fire to digest, to be digested by the body, right? So when you have proper Agni, your water is transformed well into this nourishing fluid called rasa. And when your Agni is not burning right, your water causes heaviness and bloating. And because of this, the same amount of water, it can hydrate one person, it can disturb another person. So think of hydration as two things, it's intake and absorption. Hydration is intake and absorption. Okay. And this is Awareness Week. So we should observe what impacts both our water intake and water absorption. So this week, our goal is to just examine our current relationship with water. We're not going to change anything. We're not going to shift how much water we drink or anything. We're just going to examine our current relationship. I'm going to share a form with you after the call today, with a list of 10 questions. We will go over the 10 questions now, but I want you to take a few days to observe these things, your current habits or patterns with water, and fill this form out, say mid next week, like Wednesday or Thursday before next Friday's class. Make note of your current patterns in the form. You'll get a copy of your responses and you'll use it as reference for the shifts that we're going to make next week. So let's talk about 5 factors that influence your water intake and 5 factors that influence your water absorption. Okay. So starting with 5 factors that influence your water intake. So how much water you drink, it's not really about discipline. It's also about things like convenience, the signals that you can be aware of, and your habits. Firstly, I'd like you to notice how aware are you of your thirst. Many of us actually don't notice thirst clearly anymore. We may feel low energy or mild headache or even hunger and reach out for food instead of water. Sometimes our body's signals get mixed up. So, to recognize thirst is not something that comes easily to everyone. So, I want you to understand or notice how easily you feel thirst through the day. And then comes access. If water is nearby, we drink it. If not, we postpone it. That's pretty straightforward. So I want you to notice how accessible you're making your water in the day. Something as simple as carrying water or not can change the level of hydration, you know. And sometimes even the hesitation of needing to use a restroom affects how much you drink during the day. So I want you to notice how, if you carry your water, and how available and accessible you make your water. And next comes taste. Some people genuinely don't enjoy the taste of plain water, so without even realizing, their intake drops. So do you enjoy the taste of plain water? Do you infuse your water? And then comes beverages like tea, coffee, soda. Oftentimes they replace our water intake. Your body gets fluid but not hydration, right? And this impacts your natural thirst rhythm. Your thirst rhythm becomes less clear. So observe, if you're doing this, if you're replacing your water intake with other beverages, and due to filling up your stomach with other beverages, are you getting less water? And finally, observe how you feel after drinking water. If you feel bloated or heavy or uncomfortable while drinking water, you will subconsciously begin avoiding it, right? So think about how you feel once you drink your water. Okay. And very often, as I said, this bloating is not because water is bad for you, of course, it's because your body is not absorbing the water well, right? And we'll talk about what we can do about it. But I want you to keep in mind that hydration is not just about how much water we drink, but also how well the body can receive it. And that brings us to our next part, the 5 factors that affect water absorption. So, in Ayurveda, as I said, absorption is important and it's influenced by many factors, as you can see. First comes temperature. So let's see how temperature impacts absorption. Very cold water, firstly, kills your digestion, because Ayurveda recognizes digestion related to the fire element, and anything cold sort of extinguishes fire. So Ayurveda says, like anything, drinking cold water throughout the day could shut your digestion off, and that could make you feel bloated or heavy. Whereas warm or room temperature water is usually more received easily by the body. So observe what temperature of water you usually consume through the day currently. And next is quantity at a time. Do you drink 2 to 3 cups of water at a time? Do you drink a lot of water at a time because you're very thirsty? Or do you keep sipping water throughout the day? Neither of these are actually ideal, because firstly, large amounts of water at once can overwhelm the system and your body can't digest the water. But also, if you sip water constantly through the day, I see some people like carrying a bottle with a sipper and like constantly just taking few sips through the day, that can also dilute the digestive fire. It can dilute your agni. So the ideal approach is to drink moderate amount of water at once, say 1 cup or how much ever your body can comfortably take. And then comes timing relative to meals. Observe how you find yourself thirsty, when you find yourself thirsty. Do you find yourself thirsty during meals? If you drink too much water during meals, the water can interfere with digestion. But few sips of water consumption is okay with meals as well. But if you're feeling too thirsty during meal times, that the reason could be that you're not taking water in between meals. So I want you to observe if you're drinking water between meal times or if you're usually thirsty during meal times. And next factor is the speed of drinking, and that also matters, right? Sipping water gives body the time to receive and integrate the water, digest it well. But if you're chugging it, your water is not going to be absorbed very well. So the speed of drinking matters. And finally, the mental state when you drink water. If you're rushing or like drinking it while walking or multitasking, the body is busy and distracted. It doesn't fully register the water. It's the same with consuming food, right? You have to be mindful and present. It's the same with water. You need to be mindful and pause and sit and drink it slowly so that the body receives it better and absorbs it better. Okay. So I want you to notice typically your current relationship with water, like how mindfully do you drink your water. So I want to reiterate what we're essentially speaking today is that hydration is not about what enters your stomach, but also the condition in which it enters the body. It's not just how much water you drink, but how well your body can actually receive the water. So all of these factors are important. And next week we're gonna see like a simple way to drink water right. It's not going to be overwhelming. I'm going to introduce you to a simple way to drink water right, but I want you to reflect on all of these points by next week and fill out that form before our next session. So just weekly reminders: continue with your presence pause and incorporate the breath regulation and the pranayama if you can, optionally, and reflect on your relationship with water and fill out the form before next session. Any questions? Okay, I'll just wait here for a minute for any questions. Otherwise, I'll let you go. All right. Thank you all for joining again. See you all next week.
Thank you.